What's up, everybody? I'm back. I'm in my Lakers jersey. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Nothing I say should be taken seriously. Nothing is financial advice. Please consult with a financial advisor and go buy bonds and see how that works out for you. To the charts. Bitcoin, strong as ever. Pumping like the raging bull that it is. One of the main questions I get asked all the time is, how do you know when to buy and when to sell? And obviously the answer to this, if you've been following my work, is buy the depression, sell the euphoria. But what does the depression and what does the euphoria look like? How can we spot it? Well, lucky you have a friend like me that's going to tell you exactly what you need to look out for in the depression and definitely in the euphoria when you want to be selling. Just before we get into it, I just want you to know, and you probably already know this, but crypto is an incredibly emotional roller coaster of lots of ups, lots of downs, and to be honest, a lot of waiting for things to kind of move. There's a lot of times where shit just goes sideways and nothing really happens and it's really boring. Usually those are the times where it's a perfect buying opportunity, because when no one's talking about it, that's when you want to be, nibbling, dollar cost averaging into your favorite altcoin bags. I find really intelligent people like doctors, lawyers, professors, engineers, they have a really hard time when they get into crypto because they're using the wrong logic when they're creating their investment thesis. They look for common sense in an uncommon sense environment. All right. So what do I mean by that? Let's have a look at one of my favorite coins, Pepe. What's Pepe? Pepe is a meme. Not Pepe the football player, obviously. Pepe is a meme on the internet, and it's basically a frog, right? And it's known to be affiliated with a lot of the Donald Trump fan base. But we also have a coin in crypto named Pepe, and you can see this incredible God candle that just came up, and it's a very popular meme. And why does garbage like this go up? Right? Pepe went up from the lows 550%. Okay, that's 6.5x in just in 4 weeks, really. So, funny story about Pepe. If you are so blessed to have me as a close friend, I've been telling my close friends who ask me when they want to get into crypto which coins to buy. I have told them to, don't sleep on Pepe because it's a very popular meme. And it's obviously getting a lot of attention at the moment, and it's gone up so much. And I don't know which of those friends have actually bought into Pepe, but I actually told them you should definitely get in because it's very popular. It's going to go up. It's kind of like the Doge and the Shiba Inu that happened in the last cycle. I had the exact same feelings, the same vibes with this coin, but it was obviously a much lower market cap, which means it had so much more room to grow, whereas those other ones were already more established. So if you got into them, my friends, congratulations, you made a lot of money. Don't forget to take some profits off the table, of course. Now, when we're talking about Pepe falls under the category of what's called a meme coin in crypto. Yes, they do exist. So you can see the most popular meme coin, the Bitcoin of the meme coins, is Doge. Yes, the one that Elon Musk was shilling, and you can see it's actually performed incredibly since its inception, right? You got another one called Shiba Inu, which was birthed last cycle, and you can see, again, God candle, straight up. And there's also a new one that's on Solana called Bonk, and that's gone up in a straight line as well. So you see these meme coins, they carry this popularity with them, and they draw a lot of attention, and it's fun. People like being degenerates sometimes and betting that the price of a dog coin or a frog coin will go up in the future. You can't mid-curve it. You got to be a peanut brain sometimes. But so why does garbage like this go up so much? I'll tell you. It's all about the network effects. It's Metcalfe's law taking effect. It's the reason why bringing your boomer stock market brain into crypto with the PE ratios and the company valuations won't work in crypto and will actually underperform when you compare the investment thesis of a purely crypto mindset. So what does that mean? Leave your boomer stock market brain in the stock market, and when you come into crypto, you got to understand that none of that shit matters. We see a frog on a coin and we buy it. We see a cute picture of a dog and we buy it. That's all it is. And then people will come up to me saying, "Oh, Christian, but it's just a frog and it's just a dog and it doesn't have any cash flow and it has no intrinsic value. It's just a meme on the internet." No one cares, bro. No one cares. Frog, buy. Dog, buy. Cat, dog with a hat, buy. No one cares. No one cares about your PE ratios. No one cares about your cash flow valuations. No one cares. And this is all possible because of Metcalfe's law. Metcalfe's law is a profound discovery first pointed out to myself by Raoul Pal. It's the method in which we value these crypto assets. So it's the number of people in the network squared. So N squared. And that gives you the price. It's the same way that tech companies like Facebook and Uber are valued. So Facebook, as we know, is a free software for people to use. It doesn't cost anything, but everyone knows that you are the product in Facebook, right? But besides the point, it's the same thing with crypto. As the network participants increase, so does the price. But the only difference between crypto and a company like Facebook and Uber, the profits are distributed amongst the participants of the network and not just the shareholders and the CEOs and the board of directors, which is why crypto is so much more fairer and it's such a better system than just buying bloody Facebook or Meta stocks. So you can see here how Metcalfe's law influences blockchain adoption and innovation. And then this is kind of like a different visual for you to see. So, these are all the connections in the network, the nodes. As the participants in the network increases, so does the price. So if you don't know Metcalfe's law, study it, do some research, because it is the underpinning of why these crypto coins go up so much. It's the strength and the power of the network over time. And as that increases, so will the price. Back to sentiment and reading the crowd. A very useful tool that you can use is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Just go to Google and type in Crypto Fear and Greed Index, and this little thing comes up over here. Let me just make it a bit bigger just so you can see. Basically saying, it gives you a reading on how the market is feeling at the time. So you can see at the moment we're in extreme greed. You can see Bitcoin has had one of the best monthly performances in pretty much its entire history. We're sitting at 82, which is extreme greed. And you can see how it changes per day, per week, per month. And it gives you a good indication as to how the crowd is feeling at the time, the sentiment. Another good tool to use is the Wall Street cheat sheet, which I touched on in the previous video. It gives you a timeline of how the emotions get embedded in the price of the crypto assets as they go up and down. And remember, we're buying the depression, we're selling the euphoria. So how do we spot bottoms? Let's start with the bottoms first of all. How do we know that we are in the depression phase where my retirement money is lost? How can we pay for all this new stuff? I'm an idiot. Oh boy, I've been there before. If we go back to the Bitcoin chart over here and we go to the first cycle and go down, that was about an 86% drawback. That's the depression phase. This particular spot right here was the exact bottom. And usually some event signifies the bottom. In this particular case, it was Mt. Gox, which was the biggest crypto exchange, the biggest Bitcoin exchange at the time, going down and losing all of its customers' funds. And I know that sounds familiar because that's exactly what happened in the last crypto bottom, where we went from 69K all the way down to 15, which was about a 77% drawdown. So it wasn't as harsh as the first drawdown. And that's because institutions are getting involved and they are decreasing the volatility of Bitcoin, which isn't necessarily a good or a bad thing. It just means that the swings up and down are getting less severe as time goes on. It's becoming a more established asset. And then the one over here in the middle, the 20K top went down to about 3.5K. That was about an 84% drawdown. And like I said, big things signify the bottom for crypto markets. The one that happened the most recently was in November of 2022 when the FTX exchange collapsed. The guys that were running that exchange got sent to jail. Everyone lost their money. I had a close friend who lost $1 million on FTX. He said it was going to take years for crypto to ever return and was extremely bearish. That to me really resonated and kind of solidified that, yep, it probably was the bottom and it goes out with a bang. And sure enough, from that moment, Bitcoin has gone up 300%, a 4x gain. So you can see how your emotions can really get the best of you in the worst of times, where all you're thinking about is I want to cut my losses. I don't want to think about it anymore. I want to scavenge whatever money that I have left, and I just want to leave and capitulate. Those times are the perfect times to buy crypto. When everyone is doing one thing, you do the other thing. Now, it doesn't work out all the time for every coin, but for something like Bitcoin, for that event to take place, where it was at 15K and everyone was calling for 12K, then 10K. I even heard calls for 3K. Boy, everyone is offside, and that's probably the best time to buy. And it turned out to be correct. Another thing I remember watching was on Joe Rogan. This guy, Peter Zion, actually went on the record, and this was right at the bottom. This was like here when Bitcoin was at about 15K. He came on the Rogan podcast and said some complete bullshit, where he said Bitcoin was actually going to zero and then negative numbers. And when I heard that, that just gave me even more reinforcement to say, all right, we're probably finding a bottom here, because there's no way Bitcoin is going to negative numbers. It's just ridiculous.
Crypto. Yeah, it was always a hot dumpster fire. Always, yeah. I'm not going to say that it was all fraud. Some of it was a pyramid scheme. There's never been anything there. It serves no purpose. It's not a store of value. It's not a medium exchange. And as we have seen, if you want it decentralized and not under government control, it is a haven for fraudsters. And now it's in the process of going to zero, except for Bitcoin, which will probably go negative. Because if we're in a world with carbon taxes, you have to take into account the energy that it took to produce it in the first place.
There you heard it, guys. There you heard it. Bitcoin's going to negative numbers. Sell everything. Get out. Scavenge whatever money that you have left. Bitcoin is going to zero. It's going to zero. Sell everything. Get the out. And there you have it. It didn't go to zero. That was actually the time to buy. Guys, crypto is purely psychological. And if that doesn't teach you a big lesson, I don't know what will. So when you take into consideration all of these things happening, FTX collapse, people losing money, people down 80+%, Peter Zion going on Joe Rogan and saying that Bitcoin's going to negative numbers, you put the pieces of the puzzle together and it gives you a pretty good indication as to where we are at the cycle. And that most definitely was the depression phase. And what comes after the depression phase, remember? So there's depression, bottom right. You go into disbelief, hope, optimism, belief, thrill, and then euphoria. So again, best time to buy in the depression phase. Your risk to reward ratio is off the chain. That is the best time to buy. But a lot of people miss it because they just get caught up in their emotions. And just to piggyback on actual bottoms, a 50% discount in crypto is not considered cheap. Neither is minus 60 or minus 70% for that fact. Once you start to get to that minus 85% level, then it would actually be considered a cheap price and would constitute buying the depression. This chart I have in front of me is Ethereum, right? So ETH in 2018 went from the high, went down 93%, 94%. Now, if you had bought at minus 50% thinking that you were buying the depression, look how much minus 50% is. It's nothing. That is tiny. Look how much more they went. So if you had bought at minus 50% in this cycle, you would have lost another minus 87% from the point that you bought, thinking that you bought the low. That's insane. That's why I say, even minus 60%, even minus 70%, it's not enough. Once you start getting to that minus 85%, okay, now we're talking. That's much closer to the bottom than minus 50, 60, or 70% is, right? So that leads us to this last candle here, which was the capitulation candle. And if you had bought on this candle, your risk to reward is great, because then look what Ethereum did. It went up 38,000%. Now, when we talk about the opposite, which is the euphoria stage, the tops, you have to ask yourself, is everyone euphoric? Is everyone bragging on social media about how much money they have and how much money that they've made? Are they posting profit and loss screenshots, everything in green? Are your parents, are your grandparents asking you about crypto? Is your Uber driver or your taxi driver telling you about how much money they made on some random shitcoin? Is Katy Perry posting about her new manicure with crypto logos dripped all over? This was one of the best top signals I've ever seen. Katy Perry goes on Instagram and shows off her new, what did she say? Crypto claws. Katy Perry is getting on the Bitcoin bandwagon with cryptocurrency nail paint. Top signal. sell everything. There's other signs as well. So when Dogecoin peaked out in the last cycle, so if we go and look at the Doge chart, you can see right at the top over here, Doge was 74 cents. This exact tippity top of the chart was when Elon Musk went on Saturday Night Live and told everyone to buy Dogecoin. And the normie NPC would say, oh my God, did you see Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live told me to buy Dogecoin? I'm going to go all in to the moon. Bruh, you got wrecked. You got wrecked. Minus 93% from that moment. Crypto's a cruel game, guys. It's a cruel game that feasts on your emotion. And if you are not emotionally stable, it will get the best of you. But that's why you have me, your mate, your crypto mate Kicks, to tell you what to do and what to look out for. Aren't you lucky you have a mate like me? To summarize this video, number 1, sentiment and Metcalfe's law dictates where markets go. Number 2, buy the depression, sell the euphoria. Look for the depression signals, look for the euphoria signals, act accordingly. Don't fall victim to your emotions because you will get wrecked. Number 3, patience and long-term holding strategy will always beat out quick trading and short-term mindset. Number 4, minus 50, 60 or 70% off the top is not a cheap price in crypto. Anything that's minus 85% or above can be considered buying the depression in crypto. And number 5, leave your boomer stock market brain in stock market land. And when you come into crypto, you got to have a different mindset or you're going to get obliterated. Please. All right, that's all for today. Hope you guys found value in that. I hope it teaches you a little bit about how and why crypto goes up and down so much. It's all about sentiment. It's all about emotion. Humans are emotional beings. If you can understand which emotions are in play, you can then take advantage, capitalize, buy the lows, buy the depression, and then sell the highs, sell the euphoria. Remember, watch out for what the crowd is doing because the majority of them will tell you exactly what you need to do, and be on the lookout for those top signals and those bottom signals. At the moment, Bitcoin's pumping, so we're much closer to a top than we are a bottom, so you want to look out for those top signals. I'll be there every step of the way, letting you know what I'm doing, and I will be looking out for those top signals. So that's it, guys. Latest. I'm out.